Okay, so I'll start. My name is Matthew, and today myself and Amy are going to facilitate a conversation about what it's like being a young person and growing up with alopecia, basically. We're going to do this for Alopecia UK in the 15th year anniversary, and hopefully we can have a great discussion on a lot of the good things and a lot of the not so good things about what it's like to have alopecia, and hopefully raise awareness. And if other people are watching this video, maybe it will help them if they're going through a similar thing. And generally for like the general public as well, if they see it, they might have a better understanding of what it's like for us and what kind of experiences we've got, and just increase awareness on alopecia basically. So I'll start again as I did before. My name is Matthew. I've had alopecia since I was 2 years old. I fell off a park bench on holiday, and since then it's gradually fallen out throughout my life. I used to have like similar to Arjun with his afro hair. I had like big like bowl cuts in which my mum combed over the bald patches. And then gradually throughout my life, it's just slowly fallen out until my facial hair and my eyebrows all fell out as well when I was about 20. So so I'll pass you on to Amy, and then we'll work our way around the group. And let's be great to hear your stories, basically.
So hi guys, I'm Amy, and I have had alopecia since I was 10 years old. I lost my hair just near the end of my primary school years. There wasn't really any reason why I lost my hair. We don't think it was just something that happened. It started off as a little 10p piece at the back of my head that was seen by my sister as I was apple bobbing with the brownies during Halloween. And it just slowly got wider and wider until I lost all of the hair on my head. I actually did have a little bit of regrowth when I was 15, 16, and then I lost my hair again when I was in my 20s, and this time I lost absolutely everything. So like Matt, I've lost, my eyebrows, eyelashes, arm hair, all of that stuff. But I've made the most of it, and I've put a little bit of colour on my head with my tattoo there on that side, which I absolutely love. And I'm really looking forward to talking to you all today.
Enya, do you want to elaborate? Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Enya. I'm 13, and I've had alopecia for 4 years. I don't know why it started, but I think it was like stress.
I think mine was stress a lot of the time as well, because when I went from primary school to high school, I had loads fall out, and then high school to like college, loads fall out as well. So I think stress had like a major impact on my fallout as well, to be honest. Elina, do you want to?
Yeah, I'm Elina. I'm 16 years old, and I've had alopecia universalis since I was 8. My hair fell out in the space of a week, and then gradually my eyebrows, eyelashes, arm hair, all of it. I think, my mum had alopecia areata when she was younger, but then her hair grew back fully and she hasn't had anything since. But I think mine's like inherited from her, maybe.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? I did say we didn't really know, but I do have some genetics. It's my great auntie, so my dad's auntie had alopecia as well. So there is something in there, isn't there, around relationships and genetics?
Yeah.
Chloe, what about you?
Hi, I'm Chloe. I'm 13. I've had alopecia since I was 2. When I was 2, it was alopecia universalis, and my doctor thought it was stress, but as my mum says, how can a 2-year-old have stress? So it was kind of unexpected, but as I've grown up with it, I've kind of got used to it, and I don't let anything take me down with it. I had hair, so I had hair all around here, but I had no hair around here for at least 4 to 12, so quite a long time. And then July last year, I started losing it, and I came home crying one day because I had a comment about it. And my dad emailed Little Princess Trust, and they made me a wig in at least 2 weeks. And then they shaved my head because I just didn't want, I literally only had this much hair. So we shaved it, and then when it gets longer, my mum and dad shave it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Arjun, how are you?
Okay. Hello, my name is Arjun and I have alopecia areata. And when I first had alopecia, it started as a small coin shape of that of my alopecia when it started. And just like Matthew and Enya, I'm pretty sure it was stressed as well. But I try to keep myself as calm as possible, but sometimes it's mostly schoolwork that I get stressed out mostly, especially homework. And and so when the doctor said I had alopecia, my mom freaked out. We tried a lot of things, but in the end, I actually do feel pretty good about it. And just like Chloe, I decided to shave it like up to like this short. Well, not this short, mostly just the third way down. And yeah, it was one big step for me. I really wasn't sure about it at first, but I like it now.
You're getting used to it now?
Yeah, I am getting used to it.
It was a big thing for me when I shaved my head, you know. It was the same. I wore a hat at school every day. And then it just got to the point where you couldn't hide the patches anymore, and it had to go. But yeah, it is a big thing.
Okay. The good thing about this is at least when my mom says have a quick shower, that can at least exist in my life. Just get in there, just put water on myself, done.
That's a positive, isn't it?
With pros, isn't it? Yeah, quick showers.
That's my favorite bit. That's my favorite bit mostly.
Going back to that shaving the head bit, that I was exactly the same as you, Matt. Actually, I started wearing a hat to school when I first started losing my hair. So I was in year 5 at the time, and I had all the patches around my head, and I couldn't hide them anymore. But I wasn't really ready to wear a wig or anything like that, so I wore a hat to school for ages, and then eventually I did start wearing wigs. But at that time I found having hair under the wig incredibly uncomfortable and really, really hot. And so my mum had suggested shaving, and it's such a big step, isn't it? Because you're so anxious about your hair falling out. To get rid of what you've got left seems really bizarre, but actually it was one of the best things that I've ever done, and it makes you feel sort of like you've got a bit of power over it. And I felt much better once I shaved it off, and it sounds to me that there are some familiar feelings like that in the group today.
Yeah, definitely. If anyone has had like a similar story or wants to contribute, please speak up. We're going to try and, me and Amy are going to try and keep it very casual. If something's happened to you that's similar, John's raising his hands. Like, Chloe, go on.
Last year when I did shave it, it was quite unexpected. It was my second appointment at where they were they were giving me my wig. And my mum was so against me shaving it then. She wanted me to wait until I had the wig. And I remember it was just me and my mum. I got in the car, I FaceTimed my best friend because I've grown up with my best friend. So I knew she'd be okay with it. And the week before, I'd talked about it. So I remember getting in the car, and that night we were at McDonald's, and my dad, he was so surprised about it. He was kind of angry. And then once we had our McDonald's, it was all okay. And I shed a few tears, but I knew that it would all be okay. And the next morning at school, I posted on my Instagram story that I had obviously shaved it because it was such a big thing, and literally everyone was so supportive. My other best friend, she wouldn't stop posting about it, and she was like so proud of me, and it was a relief because obviously I was anxious about it, but I was okay with it because I knew at my school it would be an okay, because I was always known to be the girl with alopecia because I didn't have much hair. So yeah.
John.
Just saying, I don't want to brag or anything, but I never really wore a hat or a bandana. I just actually showed it off to everyone. Mostly when someone has something different than everyone else, they crowd that person around. Literally, when one person saw it, they're like, "Hey, Arjun he did a cool design thing." And everyone crowded around me saying, "How did you get it? How did you get someone to design it like that? Did you design it yourself at an epic fail?"
Is that your own special grading in your hair?
And also my teeth, but that's for another story.
Did anyone else have a period of time where they shaved their head off? I'm interested to know, it sounds like parents sometimes are really anxious or worried about us shaving our heads. And I know that's something that my mum felt as well. Is that, what makes us decide to shave if our parents are worried about it?
When I first got it, I ended up shaving my hair because there was that many like patches, and it was really, my hair was really thin. So first we cut it into like a bob, and then we just thought just shave it because there was no point. Yeah.
How was everyone at school? Was everyone really supportive and things like that?
I took a wig with me, but I never really wore it. I have loads of wigs, but like I just don't bother with them. But people were like supportive over it and things. Yeah, and someone from Alopecia UK came and did an assembly at my school, at my primary school, and explained like everything what it is. And yeah.
That's brilliant, isn't it? That helps everyone understand exactly what's going on for you.
Yeah.
When I moved secondary schools, when I was about 13, I actually stood up in my assembly and spoke to my school about it because I didn't want to hide anymore, because I was a wig wearer, and the school that I'd been to previously, I'd pretended like I didn't have alopecia, and I was fed up of hiding, really. So when I moved to a new school, I decided to speak out about it, and I felt that helped put the power back on me as well, and that meant that people would be educated in what alopecia was, and they wouldn't be worried about, they wouldn't wonder what was wrong with me and things like that. And it was really helpful, and it meant that people would come and ask me questions or anything like that if they wanted to. And it sounds like, we've spoken about like Instagram and assemblies and going into school in terms of telling people about our stories. That can sometimes be really powerful, can't it? And I'm just wondering, Elina, if you wanted to come in and talk about your experience of doing that.
Yeah, so obviously before, for me, I'd never told anyone, like even some members of my family didn't know. I think it was just like accepting it was really difficult. And then because I hadn't told anyone, I was like, oh, there's no point, I'll just leave it for now. It doesn't feel like the right time. And then when lockdown came, I was like, I'm fed up of hiding. And I used to have like a big fringe to like cover the fact I had no eyebrows, and I was like, I don't want this anymore. So I just sat down and I wrote like it was a very big paragraph, and I didn't really think to do anything with it. Like it was just explaining about my alopecia and like just all about it. And then I showed my sister it, and I didn't really think to do anything with it. And then she started crying. I was like, oh, okay, why are you crying? And she was like, you should do it, you should post it. So I ended up posting it, and everyone was very supportive. And like, the number of people that messaged me and were like, oh my gosh, you made me cry, you're so brave and strong. And yeah, so now I'm just more open about it, and it's literally the best decision I made.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it?
Incredible. Chloe, you had your hand up before.
Yeah. Adding on to Enya, Amy didn't come in. Sue Hampton came in to my primary school because I remember one day in year 5 I found a load of hair where I sat, and my year 5 teacher was my favourite teacher, and she was really supportive about it because I was really upset with it. And I think it was a week later, she pulled me out of a PE lesson, and she was like, do you want to do a mad hair day to tell people about it? Because a lot of people weren't that educated on it. So we did a mad hair day for the morning, and then Sue Hampton came in after lunch, and she did a whole thing about her books and how alopecia has stopped her with things. And it really helped me because a lot of people knew about it. So yeah.
Why do you guys think it's really important that we talk about what alopecia is, and when we tell people about it, like this video? Why do you think that's important for young people with alopecia?
Go on, Arjun, you're keen there. Yeah.
I think it's really important because we need to let other children with alopecia know that they're not alone, and apparently that other people, that you won't be judged. There are some people on your side, and that you can go to Alopecia UK if you're feeling lonely or anything, just because of your alopecia and people don't like it, and that it's about that looks don't matter. It's just what you do. That's what counts. Looks don't matter. It's just what you do that counts.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thanks, Arjun. Go on, Chloe.
I think it needs to be spread and be talked about, because definitely when I go out in public, I get a lot of stares, and obviously that kind of affects me because I don't like being stared at. Even though I do like being the centre of attention, I don't like being stared at in public. So yeah, it's something that it's a bit weird, because I was at Toby Carberry the other day and a little girl came in with her nan, and I was eating my food and she was just staring at me, and I was like, I'm trying to eat, but I don't know what you're looking at, me eating or my hair, but it's obviously going to be the hair. So yeah.
I was just going to say, I think it's so important to raise awareness. Like, I know from my one post, so many people became like more educated in it, and that's just like one person. So if like many people are doing that, like it's going to spread a lot of awareness, and it just needs to be like more normalized to see like a bold person walking down the street.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. I mean, I don't know about all you guys. There was only one other person I knew in my whole life with alopecia until I found Alopecia UK. So it is quite rare, isn't it? So I think, yeah, in regards to raising awareness will always help. Definitely. Go on, Chloe.
I was the same growing up. I only knew one other person, my friend Lucy. And it was only until I actually moved to London, only like 5 years ago, where I got involved with Alopecia UK and met loads of other people with alopecia. And Arjun, that thing about saying to people, remember that you're not alone, and that it's so powerful when you meet other people who are going through what you're going through, and you really do feel like you're not alone anymore. And I think, Chloe and Enya, I know you've got quite a good friendship, haven't you? You met, was it at Alton Towers? And since then you've kind of been best friends, haven't you? Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Do you want me to speak, or do you want to speak?
Yeah, you speak.
3 years ago, 2017, I went to Alopecia UK and actually joined in with everyone for the first time. In 2016, I went, but my cousin came with us, so we kind of stayed away. We went and did our own thing. So in 2017, I went with my dad and we joined a group and we went around. I think me and Enya, I came in and Enya was already there. But we went to the first ride, which was Rita, and literally we started talking like in the first 5 minutes. And then when we came to the end of the ride, we were like, can we sit next to each other? Can we sit next to each other? And then that's how it all clicked off. And we meet up at least twice a year. But as we live so far away from each other, it's really hard, because sometimes I do need the comfort of someone else with alopecia to like share my experience and stuff like that.
And even though like we both like have it and we both know what we're both like going through, we don't really speak about it, do we?
That's what I was saying to my mum earlier. I was like, me and Enya don't speak about alopecia. It's like we're normal kids, but we're like the same, if that makes sense.
But
Like
when there is something like that's happened, we know what it's like, and we can help like each other.
Yeah, I guess it's like it's go on. Sorry,
I think making a friend with alopecia does really help, because you've got the comfort of someone else going through it, and it just really, really helps. Because I think meeting Enya did boost my confidence with it, even though I've always been quite confident with it. It's like, someone else, what they've been through, and what you've been through. It's like the same.
It's such a personal journey, and it is easy to feel alone. I know I did when I was growing up, and it's a shame that I didn't discover Alopecia UK when I was your age, because I only discovered it as an adult, and it's done so much for me now, even as an adult. So yeah, it's so good to see that you're creating friendships and you have this kind of support network other than at home as well. It's really nice to see. Yeah. Has anyone got any, like, just looking, what are like the best things, any good points of like having alopecia? What do you think are like the positives of having it and growing up with it?
I think making a friend was the best bit, and also that I get to talk about it and I'm unique, like I'm different to everyone else. Because I feel like at my school, most of the girls are literally the same. They do the exact same things, and it's nice to be someone different and have something that's unique. And I said that twice now. Something that's like different. And I know I get teachers that like they. I don't know how to explain it, but they kind of help me in ways. So I had my head of year. She was quite rude about it when I started school because she didn't think it was alopecia. She thought I'd shaved my head. Well, shaved the back of my head. And now she's lovely to me. She'll always be nice to me. Like even if I do anything bad, she's very apologetic and things. So yeah.
Good. Go on, Arjun.
So the positive things about alopecia for me is, one, I feel like the odd one out. I love being the odd one out, to be honest. Being different than everyone else makes me feel amazing. and also, well, obviously, you know, the people gathering around to see what happened. And also, well, since I have it, this might sound a bit awkward, but my head is finally cooling down because it's really hot from all the hair sometimes. And like I said, quick shower.
Even though it's not really nice having it, you get the support of other people. And I know my best friend, who I've known since 6 months old, she doesn't care what my hair looks like. Like, she's got really long hair, and I've always been quite jealous of it. But I know that if someone doesn't like me for who I'm me, I shouldn't be friends with them. And I made the choice in year 7 to be friends with a lot of people. And in year 8, I kind of took myself away from that because I knew it wasn't doing me good, and that's kind of how my hair started falling out. But yeah, it's nice being with people that support you for who you are.
So, Elina, have you any positives when you were growing up, or the good things about your experience of alopecia?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, because I'm not really at the stage where I feel like comfortable to walk out without my wig. So I guess like changing the color, length, and style of my wig. Like if I wanted to walk out with a pink wig, I could. Like no one else can like change and do that without damaging their hair a lot. So yeah, that would be a big thing for me. And then just like having support and yeah.
That's what my friends say. They're like so jealous of me because I could have like different color wigs each day. They're always jealous of that.
It is fun, and you can never have a bad hair day either. That's the other joy. You literally
Yeah, exactly.
5-minute shower, you pop your hair on, done. So it gives you an extra half an hour in bed, doesn't it?
That's crazy, because all like the great things that you just mentioned then is probably my kind of one of my negatives, because I can't do that as a guy.
Yeah.
So I get really like, not frustrated, but I can't play with fashion the same. I was really, really chuffed when I was able to get some glasses because I can accessorize a little bit and play with fashion, and that was my thing. So yeah, so it's weird how like it's brilliant for like the positive for you guys and stuff like that, but as a guy, yeah, it's slightly different. Yeah. But anyway, maybe male wigs will come along one day and I have like a Mohican or something. Touching on that, have any of you I'll just give an example of like a little negative that I have with it. Have any of you guys got any kind of negatives and what you don't like about alopecia? And go on, Enya.
It's like all like because I don't like people looking at me. But like just like everyone like staring at you, like if you're in town or something, you get glares. But you just got to ignore it, really. But yeah.
Yeah, I would agree, because I remember there was like one time when I was on holiday and I was like, oh, I'll try and go out without my wig. But I was just like, as soon as I went out, there were like so many people staring. So I just went and put it back on. Like, I just hate that it's not like normal. So everyone stares kind of thing.
Yeah. My mum, I remember New Year, we went to Swindon Outlet Store, and my parents had gone in a shop, and me and my brother were waiting outside, and these two kids about my brother's age, which is like 10, and they were staring at me, and my mum was like, she's got alopecia, stop staring. And I felt so embarrassed because my mum, she's so supportive, and my dad, and it was just, she was shouting at someone for staring at me, but obviously I'm going to stare at someone that's different, but I've got to accept that people are going to stare at me that are different because I'm different. So yeah. Another like a con of it is like, I used to love playing with my hair. I used to love braiding it, and I still do love braiding my mum's hair. And I find that hard because I can't physically put the wig on me and do it. I have to put it on the stand, and I always used to love braiding it. So it's always hard when I want to like put my hair in French braids or stuff. Well, my wig in French braids and stuff like that.
I think before I was like, I saw all the negatives, but now I'm like learning that you can turn the negatives into positives. Like you could see like being different as a bad thing, but like it depends on your mindset. Like you could also see it as a good thing. So I'd say like now I think there are more positives to having alopecia than negatives.
Yeah, that's a really good point to add, isn't it? And I think for me, I remember the staring thing. You can't get away from that, can you? And I think, the point around, well, actually, if we look a bit different, people are probably going to stare anyway. And actually, do we stare at people when they look a bit different as well? We probably do, and acknowledging that. But I think, sometimes if you ask someone, what they're staring at, I've often had people come up to me and say, well, actually, my friend has alopecia, and I'm just thinking about her and all that sort of stuff. So sometimes the stare isn't as negative as we think it is, but it doesn't take it away from it being really challenging, does it? But I'm just thinking in terms of that swinging it into a positive, like you're saying, Elena. But like I feel the people in my life and the way that my life has gone has been a huge part of my alopecia, because having it as a kid, it really shaped me as a person. A bit like Arjun explained about being brave and courageous, all these things that we develop because of alopecia, and it makes us the people that we are.
Yeah, I think with alopecia, I've become so much more confident in myself. Like, I've always been known to be the person who will stand up and talk in assemblies or stuff like that, because I do like talking to a crowd. And it's the same, like, as growing up, I've always wanted to be a teacher because I like doing that kind of stuff, and alopecia's definitely helped that because I can talk about it and be confident with it.
No, I completely agree with you. Completely agree with you all. I think as growing up with it, I've grown up with it from really young, and I feel like I'm like a nicer person now than I ever would be without it. Because I don't want to I know how I like to be treated, and I don't like people staring at me, and I don't like people touching my head or coming over and pulling my hat off or things like that. So because I don't like people doing that to me, I know never to do that to anyone else. So I generally do think I'm a nicer person because of it, and it has definitely shaped me into the person I am today. So yeah, I can completely agree with every single one of your points. Yeah, absolutely amazing. Has anyone had any like?
Sorry, I was just going to say, I also think that being a child and like being younger and having it has made it easier, just because like I didn't really know what was happening at the time, and I know that I think if I was older and I lived for longer with my hair, I would have found it harder losing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. I had like facial hair and like eyebrows and things up until I was like 18. So like I had like a certain look, and then when that left, there were people that didn't recognise me afterwards that I'd grown up with. So that's an interesting point as well. Like when you get it and things like that, and growing up through school with it and stuff. Yeah. Did anyone ever think that you was ill because you had alopecia before, or has everyone been all right? Has no one ever happened to you?
No.
People think I've had cancer. Like, I was at someone on my mum's side's wedding, and one of the people at like the front desk thought I had leukemia. So yeah, and also Mr. Maker, he thought I had leukemia when I met him. So yeah, it's quite hard when people don't know, because people always turn to poor people having cancer. So yeah.
I've had that before. I've had that a few times.
I don't remember losing my hair because obviously I was 2. So I really don't remember it, but I do remember nasty comments I got from it when I was in year R. But I couldn't give a fuck. I couldn't even tell you about losing my hair. My parents could tell you loads, but I couldn't tell you about losing my hair. But yeah.
Shall we talk about school then? What's it like at school with alopecia?
At secondary school, at my secondary school, I haven't had like an assembly. I only had an assembly at my primary school. So people, I've had questions, but people haven't really like mentioned it. And like my friend group are always like saying, if anyone ever says anything, like tell me, and I'll sort them out and like explain everything. But everyone's supportive over it. Like it's good, and teachers as well.
That's really good to hear, isn't it? That you've got your support group around you, and the fact that the teachers support you as well. That's really excellent.
Yeah.
Ooh. Go on, Chloe.
I feel like there's a lot of year 11s and they've always talked to me about it. I have one girl in my tutor and she was so nice about it. Like she came and sat next to me and talked about it, and she even helped me pick my GCSEs. She I get a lot of comments. I've had a lot of nice comments about it. Like anyone will talk to me and it's quite nice because I feel like, yes, I have alopecia, but I do get the support of everyone else. But I had one friend and she left school quite a long time ago, and this is when I started losing my eyebrows, and she was like, Chloe, have you shaved your eyebrow? Because I didn't have this bit of my eyebrow, and I was like, no. And she didn't know that alopecia, you could lose every hair on your body. She only thought it was on your head. So it really annoyed me that people thought I'd shaved my eyebrow, and that made me think that everyone in school thought I had shaved my eyebrow. But over lockdown I have lost this eyebrow and I've only got this much of this eyebrow, so it didn't help losing my eyebrows. But yeah, growing up with it at school's kind of helped because I've had a lot of people know about it and it's made me confident about it.
That's really good.
Definitely. Elina, did you have any experience at school with it, or was it?
Well, because obviously I hadn't told anyone, it wasn't really like a big thing. I mean, I'd get people sometimes be like, why do you have no eyelashes? But because I never told anyone about my alopecia, I'd just be like, oh, it's personal or something like that. So, I mean, I remember once when I was like in year 4, this girl was like, you can only sit on this bench if you have eyelashes. And like, clearly I didn't have eyelashes. And she was like, oh, Elina, you have eyelashes. You can sit on this bench. And I was just like, what? Like, I just didn't know what to say, but I just sat there. But I mean, I haven't really had much with school, but yeah.
How did you get on in PE? Trying to hide it and things. That's quite.
I mean, you know, I was always like scared for like gymnastics and stuff. I was like doing a cartwheel or something like that. I would always be really scared, like, oh, what if my wig comes off and stuff. So it was just something that I like if we were doing a routine, I'd just be like, oh, I can't do a cartwheel, like pretend I couldn't do one or something like that. But yeah.
I just wore a hat all the way through school. That was me. Because at school when I was there, you wasn't allowed a hairstyle below a number 2. I think it was. So I was bald, but you also weren't allowed to wear hats. So like you kind of stand out either way. You're kind of a bald kid or you're the guy with a hat on. But yeah, so I kind of stood out at school either way. But my school was quite supportive as well.
Was it warm in summer with a hat on?
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it was really hot. It was really hot, but I didn't have the courage to take it off. Back then, I was quite a shy guy at high school. Very shy.
Shall we talk about, I wonder if we should talk about social media as well, because I'm quite interested to hear everyone's views on social media, because we've spoken about Instagram being a big part of people telling their story. So it sounds to me, based on that you know, Instagram and social media is quite a positive part of your alopecia journey, but I'm just wondering if, you know, if there's any other views on that as well.
My brother has TikTok. I think most people have TikTok now, but he posted a video of me in the background, and one of the kids in his class, he said, did your sister have cancer? And my brother was so supportive about it. It was like, no, it's alopecia. And he was like, what's that? And he was so supportive about it, and I didn't know my brother could be that supportive, because me and my brother really don't get along, but we can do. But it was so nice that I had my brother stick up for me. And obviously I post with my wig on Instagram, because I'm not that confident posting without it, because I feel like I look better with my wig on. But when I posted my first one without my wig on, I felt so confident in myself, and I think that was my most commented or most liked photo, and I felt it made me feel better. And one of the girls from my friend's school, she texted me and she was like, "Do you have alopecia?" And we had a whole conversation about it. It just makes you feel better, because if you're down one day and then you get that kind of message, you can go back and look on that in the future when you are down. So it's really nice.
Yeah, I think that social media has been really positive for me and my alopecia. Like, social media does have its like positives and negatives, but in terms of my alopecia, it's been really good. And I don't know, when I always look through the comments on my post of like everyone being really supportive when I'm just like feeling a bit like sad or anything. It always like cheers me up.
Really good, isn't it?
I've never really like talked about it, because I just don't really talk about it. I don't know why. I just don't like. I've never posted. I think I've posted a photo once in my wig, and everyone was like, "I love your wig," but I've never really. I don't really wear my wigs either.
I think one good thing with social media, I do dancing, and my teacher at my dancing, she set up a pen pal system through lockdown. And obviously I talked to this pen pal, and I think it was our last conversation, I actually introduced her at alopecia, and she replied back and she was like, "I do know what that is." And that made me feel quite relieved, because I like explaining it, because some people know, but when it's like a big long email about it, I feel quite, what's the word? Like I don't know what the word is, but I feel quite sad for them reading that. But she was like, because someone on TikTok she follows has it, and that made me so much happier, because obviously it's being spread around, so people do know what it is.
Yeah, that's what you want, isn't it? You don't want to have to explain what it is. You want people just to know, because it's that, people are aware.
Yeah.
The other good thing for me with social media is just there are so many accounts out there now, isn't there, that with people with alopecia talking about their story. So even if we're not choosing to post about our own story, we can follow lots of people who are, and that provides that kind of assurance that you're not alone.
Yeah, I've seen like people on TikTok with alopecia with like 5 million followers. I'm like, people are really interested in it. Like, they find it interesting knowing about it when they're like sharing their stories.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing meeting like 10 people at an event, but actually online, when you see there are thousands of people out there with alopecia, you realise how big it is, really.
I remember in December I came across this post that was on my For You page, and it was this guy that got really sad about his brother having alopecia, so he shaved off all of his hair for it, and it got at least 20 million views. And it was nice, because in the comment section they were so supportive of it, and I think 5 girls from my school commented on it, and that just made me happy, because obviously they know about it, so it's being spread, and more people are going to know about it now.
Okay, shall we move on to thinking about some of the things that have helped you in your journey? So I know we've spoken about it a little bit, but it'd be really good to hear kind of the main things that you think have helped you the most during your time with alopecia. So Arjun, shall we start with you?
So the main things that help, well, there's only one huge, big thing that I think I become emotional when I think of it. And sorry if you're gonna have to cover your ears a little bit, because I'm gonna make sure my mom hears this. My mom, apparently, the biggest reason why I think alopecia is great, because mom helped me through it. She is the best in the whole wide world. And I think she deserves better. Takes care of me and does stuff. I want to have a good time.
So you've had support from your mum. That's really good to hear.
That sounded a lot better in my head.
It sounded good out loud as well.
It did.
I think one big thing is Alopecia UK, that even though I've never like thought about it, it has actually really helped knowing other people. As I've said, I did an interview thing with Enya. It helps because I said in that, going in the queues at Alton Towers, you get to talk about it. I think that's the best bit of the day, just being in the queues. Like, I prefer when the queues are long, because even though the ride is probably the best bit, because I love going on rides, you get to talk to other people, and that's how I met Enya, of course. So it's really nice because you don't feel like you're the odd one out, you feel normal. And that's what I've always said, like with Alton Towers, you see at least 200 people with no hair, or, you know, with one hair, and you don't feel like the odd one out anymore. You feel quite normal.
Yeah, it's incredibly special when you see all the blue hoodies and t-shirts wandering around Alton Towers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Enya and Chloe just making me feel really old in the queue last time I was there, actually, just telling me all these things I didn't know about.
I think it was when we had pop sockets, and we were talking about the pop sockets in the Wicker Man queue.
No idea.
I had no idea. It was hilarious.
I think I've heard of a pop socket before.
It's like,
Thank you. Thank you.
But put it on the back of your phone so you can like hold it like this.
Oh, okay.
So you can get a better selfie, really.
What about you, Enya? What would you say was the thing that's helped you the most through alopecia, your journey with alopecia?
I think just like the people, like this people supporting, and obviously Alopecia UK. It's just nice to be with other people that know what it's like and what you're going through. If you need someone to talk to, but yeah, it's nice, all the supporting people.
I was going to say, when I was younger, I mean, I haven't been for quite a few years now, but alopecia support groups, and also I went to Alton Towers like twice, I think, really helped me, because like I just didn't realize there were other people with alopecia, and it's like, wow, there are a lot of us, like it's not just me. And also my family, if I want to rant about my alopecia, they will listen to me. So yeah, they're my two main things.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with all of you more, really. I think, as I said, I've had alopecia since I was 10, but I don't really think I was managing it as well as I could have done until I was in my 20s when I got involved with the charity, because it was just that power of meeting others and being with others and knowing that people understand what you're going through, even if it's completely unsaid. You know, like Enya and Chloe were saying earlier, you don't even need to talk about it sometimes, but just to be with someone who you know knows what you're going through is so powerful.
Definitely. With me, it was very similar to Arjun. With my mum, got the best mum in the world supporting you, but then also similar to Chloe, where I've got like a twin brother who looked after me. But I know everyone's not got the luxury of a twin brother, but someone next to me going through school with me and looking after me was like, the family and friends are the best in terms of supporting through this. Definitely.
Yeah, I think I said in a call the other day that we were on that as I've grown up with my best friend, even though she's obviously supportive of it, it's like different speaking to her than speaking to Enya, because obviously she doesn't know what I'm going through. Like, still the support's good, but speaking to someone with it is so much better because like you relate to them, and yeah, it's like really nice to speak to someone else. And I think finding Alopecia UK was the best thing. And I also remember, I can't remember how old I was, but I got a bald Barbie, and it's still in my bedroom and it's on my bookshelf because that helped, because obviously I wasn't bald then, but like companies like Barbie are realizing it, so it really helped.
Okay, so to finish, what is the best kind of advice that you would give someone else with alopecia that you've kind of maybe experienced and you wanted to pass on to somebody else? Wow. Elina, would you like to go first?
I would say, what was I going to say? I had something in my head. Oh yeah, it gets easier. Like at first, it does feel like the worst thing is happening. it feels really hard. But I think once you like learn to accept it and embrace it rather than see it as more of a like negative thing, it does get easier. And it's not a bad thing at all. Like at first, I think I always saw it as a negative thing, but now I'm like, you know what? I'm glad to be different. But yeah.
Brilliant. Go on, Enya. You go next.
Like Elina said, it's not like it gets better, but like it's not the worst thing that could happen to you. Like I know it's not the best, but like it's not the end of the world. It's not the worst thing. But yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you. Go on, Chloe.
Please ignore my chair. I feel like the leg's about to snap off. But I feel like that if you have got it, I think the best advice is obviously talk to someone about it and tell your story, and also try and find a support group like this, because I know a lot of people that are really like, I would say, insecure about it, and just talking to them about anything, it really does help. So yeah, just try and, I'm not saying try and cope with it, but try and find someone else with it. Try Alopecia UK.
Amazing. Thank you. That's brilliant. Finally, go on, Arjun.
Okay, so to all the people who have alopecia, or people who don't have alopecia, or maybe might have alopecia, who maybe might not have alopecia, etc., etc., etc. So it's just that apparently looks really do not matter. Whatever you do, looks don't matter. It's just what you do that is what that counts. And that if anyone has alopecia, just don't be afraid to hide it. Sometimes you might be, but you got to work your way so then you can achieve something bigger with trying to show it out and not be afraid of being different. Sometimes being different might be good, and hey, you never know, maybe something good will turn out in the end. So basically, apparently everything can be awesome. Sometimes not, but it always can be.
Adding on, I know it's hard to cope with it, but you've also got to find the best ways to like not see other people with hair and just like be so jealous about it. Like take yourself away from it, have a like a self-care day. Don't think about it and just like focus on yourself, not something about your appearance.
And also, people like you for who you are on the inside. Like how you look does not matter. Like it's who you are on the inside that matters.
I feel like society today, they're trying to embrace that, because a lot of people go for the looks and not the personality. And I feel like that's something that needs to be, like, I don't know what the word is, but something that needs to be spread. And that's one thing I feel like my school, any school, that should be taught, because I know a lot of girls and boys that do go for the looks, not the personality, and the personality is always the best.
They're all beautiful answers. They're amazing. Like, I completely agree with every single one of them. Like alopecia doesn't define you. It's just something that's kind of happening to you. So like it's just about who you are on the inside, basically.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful place for us to finish off our conversation this evening.
I'm trying to find something, because I think it was about 2 years ago. I found a sticker on a car and it said something about bald heads, and I'm trying to find it on my phone.
Oh, I don't know if I want to know what it says.
Found it.
Oh, thank you.
It says, "Bald is beautiful. God only made so many perfect heads. The others he covered with hair."
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Maybe that's the perfect place to end then.
That is the perfect way to finish.
So we just want to say thank you so much to you guys for giving us your evening to talk to us about your experiences of alopecia and to answer our questions. You've all been absolutely incredible. You've been incredibly honest, incredibly courageous, talking about your experiences tonight. And thank you so much. I'm sure this video is going to mean the world to a lot of people watching it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. It's been so nice to see you and meet you all again. It's been brilliant. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you to you too.
Thanks.